All right, we're going to talk about a provisional cast on. When you have stitches that you start and you knit straight up, you have this edge where you cast on, these are considered dead stitches. If I was going to pick up stitches here to have them continue this direction, because I've knit down, if I'm going to knit up this direction, I would need to pick these stitches back up on my knitting needle. So they're considered dead stitches. There's no live stitches on them. All right, but a provisional cast on creates live stitches. This is a provisional cast on that I've actually knit. I've knit down to here, and then as you can see, there's a lighter color of gold running along here. You can see it especially here. These stitches, this crocheted edge, and that's what this is, it's just a crocheted chain stitch, are holding the stitches live on the end. So when I get ready to pick these stitches back up, because I'm going to be continuing to knit, so that I wouldn't have a seam. Normally if I started knitting, I would have to pick up these stitches, or I would have to seam them together. So to avoid doing that, they do a provisional cast on. And what happens when you remove these, and I will show you that in a few minutes, you actually pull this and it undoes your chain stitch, and those stitches that are within that chain become live again. So I'm going to show you how to cast that on here. I have some stitches right here, and I am going to be putting the chain stitches onto the needles. This is a sweater I'm working on that calls for the side seams to be provisional cast on, so that you don't have a visible seam, so that it looks invisible. So here's what you do. You're going to chain stitch right onto your knitting needle. So you hold your yarn, put a knot in it with a little loop. You can chain a couple of stitches if you want, just for a little bit of a safety net, so that if part of it would pull out, it's easy to grab. You're going to put your yarn underneath the needle. You're going to use your crochet hook, and it doesn't matter what size crochet hook, and you're going to grab the yarn over top of the needle and pull it through your chain. Just like that. And then you're going to bring the yarn back around again. You're going to reach your yarn over top of the needle, pull it through the loop just like before, move your yarn to the back, and then you're going to catch it again, pull it through the loop, move your yarn to the back. You want to make sure you keep these stitches along here snug, but not too tight and not too loose, because you're actually going to knit, when you come back through the row, you're going to knit these stitches, and that makes them live. So we'll do it a couple more times. You just are going to grab the yarn from over top of the needle, bring it through your loop, and then move the yarn back around again. So in doing this, you form your chain. So here's what it looks like. And then I would just remove the hook. You just slip this through so you can easily basically pull it loose, and your stitches kind of unzip for the most part, and you pick them up with your needles. So when I come through, I will actually be knitting these stitches right here. So that is a provisional cast on. And in a minute, I will show you how to pick up these stitches when you remove these, what to do with them from there.
All right, we have had our cast on here, our provisional cast on, and we've knit up here. Now we are ready to pick these stitches back up so we can knit down this direction. In a normal picking up of stitches, you would have a ridge that would form along here that would look like a seam. So the purpose in a provisional cast on is so that it is seamless, and you won't see this mark at all. You will just be picking up the live stitches. So in order to do that, you are going to take the chained on section, and I did change color to blue so you could see this really well. And you are just simply going to have your knitting needle. You will need a crochet hook just to have on hand in the event that you would drop a stitch. So it's just handy to have one ready in case. You're going to take your needle. You are going to pull loose the slip stitch right here and slide it in. As you pull the chain out here, you're going to pick up that stitch. Pull the chain out and pick up that stitch. You can pick up the stitch and then pull the chain loose. You can do it either way. Either one will work. And you're just going to pull it out and pick up the stitch. In the event you would drop a stitch, say I've dropped this one here and it's pulled through so I can't pick it up, this is when you would use your crochet hook and just go through, pick up the stitch, and put it back onto your needle and continue. Pulling out a stitch. I tend to hold the chain in this hand and pick up the stitch with this hand. So I pick it up, pull the chain loose, pick up the stitch, and pull the chain loose.